We're back with the Dash for Cash. The hydroplanes are on the Columbia River. It's just about time to talk about who's out there. Steve Montgomery, we've got 4 of our young guns and 1 wily veteran.
2 red boats on the water, a yellow and green one, and the 4th boat is the familiar Oh Boy Oberto coming down the front stretch right now. This is the way they will line up in the lanes. We are at 1 minute and 30 seconds now to the start. The interesting thing here, Mark, is that Steve David, our fastest qualifier, is going to come from the outside, way out in lane 4, and this should make for a very interesting Dash for Cash. You're looking at the boats now as they go through the Blue Bridge turn for the final time. They'll go up the backstretch, get in formation, lanes 1 through 4, come around and make a flying start right in front of us here at just about 200 miles per hour.
And in lane number 1, it will be the U5 FormulaBoats.com, driven by Jeff Bernard. Right next to him will be his teammate, J. Michael Kelly, in the U7 Graham Trucking. Next to him in lane number 3 will be Brian Perkins in the U48 Miss Albert Lee. And on the outside will be Steve David, currently our fastest qualifier after the Friday qualifying sessions. And they're about halfway up the backstretch in their assigned lanes as we get ready for the start of the Dash for Cash.
Steve David qualified the Oh Boy Oberto just a tick under 162. He was at 161.957 miles per hour. That put him at the top of the ladder. Dave Vilwalk went out and ran a faster lap, as Mr. Reister just explained. That was disallowed. He burned a little too much fuel. The fuel flow violation left Steve David at the top of the ladder, and now this is going to be interesting because he'll be way on the outside, Mark, with a lot of speed off to his left. The Oh Boy Oberto would be the favorite here, but he's going to have to get around a lot of boats.
He's going to have to get around Brian Perkins, and he just did. They came very close as they came around that west turn, but they come down now with 5 seconds to go before the start of our Dash for Cash. And Steve David, you're watching him lead him across the starting line to start lap 1 of 3 for the Dash for Cash.
Steve David wired the start on the outside of the Oh Boy Oberto. He had his nose right on the line, right on time. The 2 red boats are over there in the rooster tails. You can see them now from our turn 1 camera. You see Steve David leading the field into the turn, but he's way on the outside, and the leader through the turn is going to be the boat on the inside, the U5, but here comes the Oberto on the outside. A great 2-boat race as they start up the backstretch.
Steve David, you're looking at him right now, the U1 defending national champion, Oh Boy Oberto, but right next to him is Jeff Bernard, and right next to him is J. Michael Kelly, less than 2 boat lengths between the 3 of them, and the 2 red boats are now caught up with Steve David. It's a dead heat as they head up the backstretch almost to turn number 2.
J. Michael Kelly's boat, that's the red boat with a little more white on the deck and the cowling, actually accelerated the best on the backstretch. He went by his teammate Jeff Bernard, and then he pulled the Oberto at the top of the stretch. So now those 3 are going to be pretty much side by side as they come down to finish lap 1 in the 48. Brian Perkins looking pretty good back in 4th place.
He's right in there, and Jeff Bernard's going to lead lap number 1. Oh, it's a dead heat between the U1 Oberto and J. Michael Kelly as they come across, and Brian Perkins 4th as they head now to the Blue Bridge turn. And it looks like J. Michael Kelly and Jeff Bernard right there, and there's Steve David as he comes into your picture as they go around the Blue Bridge turn. Still, Jeff Bernard on the inside leads at the end of turn 1 here on lap number 2.
But now this is exactly the way it looked last time, Mark. We saw the 2 red boats, only this time J. Michael Kelly is going to make his move a little quicker. He appears to have the best acceleration of those 3 leaders. That's the red boat in the middle, but Steve David has opened up about a half a rooster tail now on the outside, but he's running a much bigger race course than the 2 red boats.
FormulaBoats.com and the Graham Trucking, that's inside then outside the 2 red boats, and Steve David buried in the rooster tail out there is Brian Perkins in the Miss Albert Lee, and he's still in lane number 3.
Here he comes. He's pulling up beside the 2 boats on the inside. We have 4 boats side by side off the corner. They're coming down to finish lap 2. This is only a 3-lap race. They don't have far to go. Steve David and the Oberto now moving out to a lead, still running way out in lane 4. J. Michael Kelly is 2nd, and at that time Brian Perkins was actually 3rd as they came by us.
And Bernard way on the inside. He was 4th. This 3 boats have been changing lanes, and they changed lead as well. And Michael Kelly took his teammate for a ride that time. But it's Steve David as they come through the Blue Bridge turn for the last time. And our 2 red boats, the Formula Boats and the Graham Trucking, the 2 teammates running side by side, and side by side with them in the 2nd place tie, 3 boats, the Miss Albert Lee and Brian Perkins in there as well.
Now we're going to find out who has a race boat here. Steve David has almost a rooster tail on the two red boats, but they do have a shorter turn to make up at the top of the course here. We'll see if he's able to hold him off. He has to run further. He has to run faster if he's not going to be caught by the two youngsters off to his left. Here they come, Mark, on the inside right now. Bernard has a little bit of an advantage on his teammate. Steve David is ahead of both of them on the outside, but not by much. It's a drag race. It's going to be the Oberto. Steve David is going to win the Dash for Cash, not by much.
And I think J. Michael Kelly just nipped his teammate Jeff Bernard by about 3 or 4 feet for second place. Jeff Bernard third. The checkered flag prize for Brian Perkins in fourth place. So the winner of the Dash for Cash is your defending national champion, Steve David, in the U1 Oh Boy Oberto.
A great boat race, you guys, and it's always fun when you put the fastest boat way on the outside, and you can see how that works out now. The two red boats very evenly matched, and they were deck to deck throughout the 3 laps, and surprisingly, Brian Perkins and the U48 Albert Lee Appliance did a very good job of staying with 3 of the fastest boats in the pit area here this weekend for the Columbia Cup.